Hello everybody, welcome to JoJo Overdrive, and today we'll be going over our final theories for JoJoLands. Now that we have the protagonist and a bit more information about it, we've got a lot more theories cooking up. And as a special thing for the beginning of this video, we have created a JoJoLands predictions bingo card for the entirety of the part. In 10 years, we'll come back and look at it. So let's we'll laugh at how wrong every single one of these are. Let's go over it. Okay, it should be on screen now. So the first up
a lot of this stuff is stuff we talked about in the first prediction video, but also a lot of it is stuff we didn't.
There's stuff. We'll
go over.
Josuke dies. He gets murked in any shape, way, or form in the entire part. As long as he gets out of there, that's a mark on the card. I think it's very likely to happen. Like, I don't. Most appearances, we pretty much most of the JoJos have like died at some point. Jonathan dies. Joseph, no, because he lives forever. Jotaro dies. Josuke, actually, he's fine. Giorno, he's fine. Jolene dies at one point and then gets brought back. Johnny dies. So we got a good, that's about, exactly half, or even a bit over half. I wasn't exactly counting.
The thing with Johnny, though, is he doesn't die in part 7, so I almost don't count it.
Yeah,
but he dies young.
Yeah,
that's where it's, the...
Yeah, but he still dies, and so...
Let's say... Technically, by the time of the new Rohan one-shots, Joseph would have to be dead. Mm-hmm. But, I wouldn't count that as him dying in the part or whatever. Not that I think that's going to happen with Josuke. Josuke's going to die in battle.
Well,
I think.
I think it would be kind of underwhelming if he just died off screen. I think the only way that he would die off screen if we'd have a huge time gap, which I severely doubt.
No way we're getting a huge time gap. No, especially with him saying that it's a direct descendant of Joseph. It makes zero sense.
Okay, and next we have Tsurugi showing up. I think this would be very cool because after having the whole previous part basically revolve around Tsurugi overcoming the rock disease, it would be nice to see the aftermath of that. How does he turn out and everything in the future.
Also, the different design would be interesting.
Yeah, next, no original universe crossover. This is pretty simple. No Eyes of Heaven stuff, shenanigans.
Basically, no. Obviously, this isn't counting alternate counterparts. This is Jotaro comes through a portal.
Yeah, this is Endgame.
I think there have been interviews where Rocky says he was talking about Eyes of Heaven, and he was like, "This is something I would never write ever in my manga." I will not count this. Let's say something happens where the universe resets into the original universe or something. Mm-hmm. I will not mark this then. I would count that as a crossover.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
If we visit the original universe somehow, I would not count it.
I guess yeah. Globe trotting. I would count this as visiting at least 2 different continents, I'd say, because that is a long span of time, and it can't be a quick cut to in JoJolian they cut to freaking the original New Guinea or whatever with the Rokakaka. That's not globetrotting. That's not the characters going over there. That's just a quick little cut to a different place. That doesn't count.
Totally. I think large 3 countries probably.
Something like that.
Also, before we go on to the next one, I just want to mention this was inspired by the Jokakaka channel. We like their content, so we were
channel.
We're gonna do
it's
bingo card too.
We'll
good
do
channel.
it too. Good. At Jokakaka, go subscribe. Next one, new Devil's Palm. This feels like almost they went 100%.
Yeah.
It's I'll get into it now just because it's right here, it's right now. But with the revelation of the new kind of synopsis that we have of them going to which we assumed islands because JoJoLands, but it's kind of we get more context. I believe that the islands they're going to is a new set of islands that were created from the earth because they're Devil's Palms or whatever. That's my prediction, is that a new series of islands.
That would be so cool.
My prediction for the plot is that a series of islands has sprung up in the middle of the Pacific or something. I think it's tropical, so that would make sense. Their Devil's Palms have appeared, and a bunch of people want to go get it because it's a bunch of land. It's a bunch of free place to get. We'll see a bunch of different characters with different motives. Someone maybe wants to build like real estate there or something. Other people want to grow crops or whatever, and that's like gonna be like the main crux is that, oh, this is new land. This is the story about finding new lands or something.
I mean, we also know that the protagonist is supposed to be like super rich or whatever,
or is about to become rich.
Or is on a quest to be rich. The translation's a little. I've seen multiple ways. But it could easily be that he's using the new lands to get rich.
Yeah, precisely. Okay, next, more than one Joestar. Do you mean you wrote this one?
Yeah.
So
specifically, if they are, we're not counting JoJo. We're saying Joestar. It's like two very different things.
So
just a new member of that family.
Josefumi Kujo would not count. Is what you're saying?
Unless obviously we found out like somehow he's connected to the family.
As of this moment right now.
No, I am counting someone like Kira.
Okay.
In part 8. I would count that as a new Joestar.
Mitsuba's second child appears. It would be so cool because we had the whole arc of like saving the aborted fetus in.
I think it'd be interesting too if the child had like abilities or whatever.
Oh, I bet
they
it would
like
have
died
that
before.
That would be interesting. It inherits Dr. Wu's ability.
I mean, I'm just saying, Diavolo also had a really weird birth.
That's
where he was
true.
Like, they were pregnant with him
I did not
for
think
like
about that.
over a year or whatever.
It was like an urban legend or whatever. Yeah. That actually that makes more sense than I think it does. Actually, I've always kind of for me, back when the part was initially coming out, Toru / Wonder of You is kind of like the personal like alt Diavolo for me because he's like hiding in plain sight. He has an alternate personality, which is the head doctor. Like that's his Diavolo. My theory back before we knew completely the capability of the abilities, I thought that it was like a consciousness swap between head doctor and Toru. That's what initially I thought, but it wasn't. And it didn't end up being that. So it wasn't as close to Diavolo and Doppio, but there's still clearly some sort of connection here. Also,
and
he's
I mean,
like
the Rock Humans are similar to the gang.
Yeah, they're like a gang. They lead like they assassinate the Damo-kan or whatever they're called. There's a lot of similarities. Okay, non-stand user one-off villain. This is kind of a rarity in JoJo nowadays, but it's more of a Steel Ball Run had plenty of them. It would be a lot of fun to see anybody. We had part 7. We had Mrs. Robinson. We had Stroheim for like 5 seconds. So having another character like that might be fun, especially for like investigating new places. There might be
also arguably Diego before
because
Diego
Diego was only able to inherit the stand after he got the corpse part or whatever. So
I want to just go on a little side tangent about Diego really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recently realized like the reason alternate Diego has the world is probably because that would be Diego's actual stand in the base timeline if he never got the Scary Monsters one.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
And I never connected that. I was always like, I thought it was just fan servicey, but I was like, actually, it makes sense if he didn't.
Because if he went through the Devil's Palm, he probably would have gotten the world. Because Scary Monsters, he like mastered after having the corpse part and being infected by scary monsters. He kind of was able to learn to control the power or whatever, and it became his own stand. But if he didn't do that, then that does make sense. If he just regularly went through the Devil's Palm like everyone else, he probably would have gotten the world. That makes total sense. Okay, Toru,
the best square up next.
Toru cameo. Longtime fans of JoJo Overdrive know that Toru is a controversial figure here, also known as I don't like him very much. But there's still a chance that he cameos because he's still a big figure in the story.
I think it makes sense, especially if we're flashing back.
If we are expecting JoJoLands to be a sequel part to JoJolion, which makes a lot of sense, even the title itself is even the same naming scheme. If it was just like JoJo something, I would be like, okay, it's a stretch, but it's the same like acronym like letter. It's like L.
Yeah.
It's like JoJoLands. So it that feels intentional. So I guarantee it will have a lot of connections. So Toru making an appearance is absolutely not out of the question. Would you count this if Wonder of You makes any sort of appearance, because we know Wonder of You can be separate from Toru, as in the end of JoJo.
If it's Wonder of You before Toru dies, like if they reveal somehow Wonder of You has returned, then I wouldn't count that at all, because obviously we know it's separate. But if it's before Toru dies, I would count it.
Okay. Brando family relevant. There's lots of ways this could happen. There's a ton of ways. We discussed it a lot last time, how he could have like a long distant descendant, or I don't remember if we talked about this.
He could even have a direct child with a rock human. Which would connect part 7 and 8.
In JoJoLand, it says that regular males and rock human females can have kids, so that's a total possibility.
I find it interesting that is the only way it can go. It can't go the other way.
They said it can't go the other way. So
so I feel like that's totally something he would be like, oh, I could do that.
So kind of going off of this, now that we have the protagonist image revealed, which you didn't last time when we were talking, do you think that this is alt Giorno? It's kind of like it has like light hair color, same as Giorno. So do you think that, and he's like in search for money, which is kind of similar to the original Giorno's, which is take over the mafia. It was for different like purposes, but it still had the same like acclaim, power, get rich, rule over other people. Same kind of vibe that we're getting. Do you think this is alt Giorno, or do you think this is someone different?
I just want Araki to just do something completely fresh and brand new. I think people get too wrapped up in the alternate universe stuff.
I mean, he gets wrapped up in the alt universe stuff too. So
yeah, but I mean, like, if you compare to part 7 to part 8 literally only has what, 3 direct alternate universe ones.
All alternate universe.
So
ones, yeah.
Like, I think he's done less of it, and I think maybe I just don't see him being named Giorno. That doesn't make sense.
Even name wise, yeah, I was about to say name wise, a lot of characters that have different counterparts are. One, they're vague counterparts. Sometimes they're even two separate people, such as Kira being a blend of Jotaro and original universe Kira. And, for example, Carrera is supposed to be Yukako because she has Love Deluxe, but she's not named Yukako. There's no reason for her not to be named Yukako. It doesn't affect anything. She's just not.
Yeah.
So it could just be something completely different. I was going to say something... yes.
Basically, I think that he's just gonna combine Giorno and Jolene into one new character.
Something I had literally just never considered, because I've always been I always kept a pretty flat mindset about this, but there's no reason why this couldn't be alt universe Jotaro. He could be named Jotaro.
It literally
could be. We have not used that name.
We could get Jotaro Joestar, unironically.
Unironically, that is a completely fair assumption. I just never considered that, because I always think, either Kei or Kira is child of Holly. They have a lot of similarities. Jotaro counterpart, but if this is going to
be the grandson of Joseph, like I am almost positive, even if it's Kira's son still, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the grandson, or I guess it would be great-grandson of Joseph.
Yeah, if it's great-grandson, if it's grandson of Joseph, then that's
grandson
Jotaro.
Or great-grandson.
There you go.
Like,
I think that it's entirely possible, but just based on the fact that Jotaro is such an iconic, like, name, period. Just, if this is going to be... It has a chance of being the final part, just on how old he is. I don't think it will be, but it's still just if this is gonna be the final part, then he might want it to be Jotaro for the most iconic Joestar.
I can see that.
He might want it to be all Jotaro,
or he could do Joseph like the second or whatever. He could do another Joseph.
He could literally just do another Joseph. There's so many possibilities that we're not considering.
He could do another freaking Jonathan if he wanted to. He won't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to, but he can if he wanted to. Or, alternate option, another name that has not been chosen before.
You have convinced me that it would be Jotaro over, like, Giorno or anything.
Honestly, I think that I've convinced myself, honestly. I was just like, it was just a crackpot theory, but it kind of makes sense even. And this is a stretch, but even, like, the hairstyle itself... It's kind of like a more like, I don't want us to call it like emo, but it kind of is. It totally is. It's like a Jotaro like style cut. If you didn't have it feels like if Jotaro had a different path or whatever. Instead of wearing the hat all the time, he wears like his hair over his eyes.
Gen Z Jotaro.
The Gen Z Jotaro. This is what it would be. Okay, Moving on now. Side tangent over. New baby stand. Good big U-turn here.
This was just I thought of Death 13 and I was like, that would be funny to see again.
Okay, Death 13 is funny.
I totally could see him doing that.
Do you count Old Tom as a baby stand?
His name,
looks like
his
a baby.
stand name is literally
It's
Ozone Baby.
and he looks like a baby.
I probably wouldn't count it, but I'm not like afraid of in the new part because he won't. I don't think Araki would do 2 parts in a row with an old baby.
I was about to say, I say count it anyway because I doubt you're gonna get a bingo. Also, you have 10 years or probably to fill this out.
We'll see if Old Tom returns once we get the whole backstory of Haruno sniping him.
Ah, yes, class. Pull that image up. Pull the image up of the cannon that happened of Haruno Higashikata. Thank you. Okay, anyways, King Crimson. Do you think
we went over this one like a ton?
We went over
I think
this
it's
a ton.
gonna happen.
I'm just gonna go over this pretty quickly. Higashikatas have a pattern of having King in the stand name. King Crimson is like one of the only ones that follow the pattern besides Talking Head. It feels really, and villain stance of a pattern of reoccurring. King Crimson probably has a chance of recurring. That's all I'm gonna say on that. We talked about it more in the previous video. Go watch that. Free space, whatever, it's automatically there. Character from previous part died off screen. Like, if you were to name someone right now, who do you think? Holly? If we're jumping far into the future, maybe even Narusuke, which I know would kind of be weird after saving him at the very, very end, but if
also, I am counting Joseph because in the family tree, we do not see a death date.
Yes.
So if they mention his death, even if it's prior to 2011, I'm gonna count it.
That is completely fair because also with a character as big as Joseph, as much as he like put focus on him, it would be weird if he did it off screen. I still think, but if it's still possible.
The only thing I think is because with all we're hearing, I could see some kind of inheritance angle be played into it.
My theory is either the land thing, or like they're going to the new lands, or like
because Joseph like owns the land or something, and then the new
Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Okay, they're not newly discovered or whatever. They were newly discovered back in like Joseph's time or whatever. We have a big gap of time where we're not sure what he's doing. We know he gets stuck in. Is it stuck in Japan or stuck in America? He gets stuck in America. He gets stuck in America. He could do some stuff there. He could find a series of islands and he could own them somehow.
He works with the Speedwagon Foundation.
He works with Speedwagon. They have a ton of money. We don't even know how Speedwagon exactly functions. It kind of seems like they're with the government. It's an oil company.
Yeah.
They say it's an oil company initially, but
I assume it goes from like the oil company, and then with that money, they basically become like the FBI. But they aren't like at all like the original universe.
Original universe Speedwagon Foundation goes from oil company to SCP Foundation real fast. Basically.
Also, in the new universe, they have no like relationship with the Joestars at all.
Lucy.
The family tree's also way too big.
Lucy is part of the Speedwagon Foundation.
No, but I mean like they don't have a
Lucy is connected to Joseph, who saves her.
No, but I mean like you know how in the original parts they'll be like, I'll get a helicopter from them, right?
Lucy is high up in the Speedwagon Foundation theoretically. Joseph saves her with Radio Gaga incident. Lucy's like, hey, and
then she gives him a job in America.
And then she gives him a job in America. And also, remember, he was like, she got sick or whatever. So, I think there's a high chance that they're indebted to Joseph. And if this is a descendant of Joseph, they've got the Speedwagon on their side. That's my prediction.
The Speedwagon.
Speaking of which, Speedwagon Foundation is the next one. We just covered that accidentally. That was completely unintentional. Anyways, main character stand evolves. Do you count Go Beyond as an evolution?
Yes, I 100% count it as an evolution. Design change.
Go Beyond is not. It's like
a new ability,
but it's not new. He's been using it the whole time, and he just didn't know it. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what the ability is. Don't argue with me.
The design changes though, even if it's minor.
I think it soft and wet, like kind of like changing is just he changed soft and wet over time. I think that's genuinely it. It's not that different besides the shoulder star stuff, which it was shown off in the very beginning. But design wise, soft and wet Go Beyond isn't that different. I count Go Beyond as a upgrade. That's fine, I guess. Okay. But if it's like similar to an act stand, then absolutely.
It's gonna yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, by the way, I wrote this not really intending it to be like Go Beyond. I meant more like a
like a tusk.
Ooh, would you
Or-
like a Tusk or something else? Would you count Star Platinum the World as an evolution?
No, because it's not changing. It's just he had a power he didn't know about. He just thought it was a punchy stand, but he didn't know how to time stop
Yeah.
until he got pushed far enough to be able to figure it out. Starfinger is not. Yeah, I was about to say if you count if you count stopping time as an evolution, you count Starfinger as an evolution, and I can't live in a world where Starfinger is an evolution of Star Platinum. I can't live in that world. Okay, pet sidekick. Should be a lot of fun. Need a new Iggy, alt universe Iggy. I didn't even think about that.
No, guys, the rabbit is not a pet sidekick. Is because of the New Year's card.
Yeah, can we clear this up for a second?
Literally just New Year's.
Either maybe they're being ironic. I severely doubt it. I've seen lots of things in the JoJo fandom before. The rabbit that appears in the first protagonist teaser image is because it's the year of the rabbit, because he always puts the animal on the New Year's card. Nothing. If it has anything to do with it, it's pure coincidence. There's a 99.9% chance it has nothing to do with it, because it's just the rabbit. We've seen Josuke with monkey. We've seen just a tiger. It has nothing to do with it. He puts the funky animal in whatever year it is on the zodiac. That's it. But what if there was a rabbit? It would be cool. It would be pretty funny. Pet sidekick, alt Iggy. I haven't even considered like alt universe pet shop, pet sounds. Even?
Yeah.
Imagine if he puts in pet sounds from people might not even know pet sounds. If you haven't read Crazy Diamonds Demonic Heartbreak, the spinoff, then there's a parrot.
You get your fill of new animal character.
There's parrots and
With
he's
a
pet sounds,
cool
and he's cool. I won't say anything else. Go read it. New Zeppeli appears. I mean, they didn't die off unlike parts 1 and 2. They didn't die off. They at the end of part 7, they're chilling. They're balling. Literally, they're literally balling.
Yeah.
Do you think he could?
That's it. It's pretty simple.
That's pretty much it. I'll say one more thing. Do you think it would be like part of the main cast or just like a side like appearance?
Oh, I think it would be on the the level of Rai, who appears like pretty late, but
Super
then when
late,
he's there, he's there for the rest of it.
Yeah, he
I
kind
think
of
like
takes
that.
over the show once he shows up.
I don't think chapter 1 we're gonna have new Zeppeli.
Okay. Speaking of Zeppeli, Italy makes an appearance. If Italy were to
100%
appear,
confident in this one.
if Italy were to appear, then the Zeppelis would probably appear because they're Italian, I believe. Unless I'm stupid. Yeah, they're totally Italian. Yeah, they appear in yeah. I'm not misremembering part 7.
Italy's I'm like so confident, even if it's just for a little thing, there's gonna be a scene in Italy. 100%. Probably one of my most confident ones here, besides like no original universe crossover.
Yeah. Shorter than part 8 in chapter count. This is pretty simple. It's gonna be a shorter part, you think?
Shorter than what? 102 chapters or 108?
It's
I think it's
108.
108.
I think it's 109 actually. It's like I think I remember because it's 1 off of 110, and I thought 110 would be a nice clean number to end on, but he just didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I assume because of the volumes.
Volume releases, he had
108.
to end it
Um,
differently.
But I don't think it's gonna run that long. I think it's going to be like 92 chapters, somewhere around there. Sounds good.
I hope
Like 2 less volumes, I think.
I think JoJoLands got stretched out a bit too much. It takes a bit too long to get to where it is, and Wonder of You it overstays its welcome. But when it does get good, it gets good. So if you can just cut down on the fat, I think the new part could be very good.
Also,
lengthwise.
because unlike the majority of the JoJo community, I do not think part 9 is the last part. I'm like on the train of he's going to make until he dies.
I am on the part 9 is the last mainline part train, and after part 9 he stops.
I'm not
just
convinced.
makes spinoffs. I think he just makes spinoffs for the rest.
I think part 9 is going to be is going to be around like go for like 8 years, right? And like he'll be old.
He'll be like 70 at that point.
Like that's all he wants. That's what he wants to do. He wouldn't be doing this if he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know why suddenly when he is 70 years old, he would go,
stop.
"Oh, now I have no passion to do this." When all he said in all of his interviews is, "This is what I want to do for the rest of my life."
After Berserk with Moira, it's kind of scarring that he was younger, I believe. So it's
like way younger.
No, I don't think way younger.
I think like 10 years, which I'd count as like significantly younger. Yeah.
I think he was closer to 60 than not. Okay. I'd have to look it up. Anyways, that's not the point here. The point I'm trying to make here is that it would suck so much if he was halfway through writing a part and then just died. Which,
yeah.
Let's put in the JoJoLands bingo. Rocky dies before he finishes the part. They're added into the free space. This better not age horribly. Absolutely, 100% guaranteed. Okay. Do you think it would be longer than Steel Ball Run at least? Steel Ball Run's a couple volumes.
Steel Ball Run is only that long though because it was weekly for the first 20 chapters.
Yeah. So. Okay. No. Volume count wise, which has the same amount of pages basically. Volume count wise, it's still a few volumes behind, but
I'm pretty sure though that the what was I going to say? That they did less volumes, or they would have to do more volumes for once it got to monthly because it would be more pages. I don't know.
I think it's the same amount of pages for volume.
Okay, if it's the same amount of pages, then you're right. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel it's not going to be over 100 chapters.
That's your prediction. Okay.
100%.
Post 2011 stand name. Pretty simple. A song reference that is after 2011, which we have not gotten yet. Most recent is, I think, California King Bed. I think. Maybe?
California King Bed is the most recent.
I think it's 2010 or 2011. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's right after Born This Way.
Oh, okay, cool. And rock humans appear. Rock humans were covered pretty thoroughly in JoJoLands, but there's still plenty of room for them to be a part of it.
I think even as a one-off villain, they are totally.
There's gonna be a reference to it.
There's a splinter organization or something that's going after the Rokakaka or something. I don't know.
Especially since rock humans they're said to gather around devil's palms because they like holy places or whatever. Yeah. So they and if my current theory of the Devil's Palm Islands, it would make sense to have rock humans on the islands. And related as well, Holy Corpse appearance. This is pretty much, in my opinion, this is like a 99%.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Holy Corpse is the
fact that the Holy Corpse wasn't like destroyed. I'm like, it totally
and again, there is as far as they've said in the universe, as far as they know, there's no way of destroying it. So it has to do something story wise.
Yeah, but it's not like something where I mean destroyed in terms of like if Johnny used Tusk Act 4 on it or something. Oh yeah, something like where it is something no one would be able to use it ever.
Yeah.
Or like
try and split it apart again and just throw it.
Exactly. Throw it into the ocean a million miles deep everywhere.
Part 7, it's obvious because it's the main crux of the entire part. It's the magic item they have to go search after. Part 8, it creates the walleyes, which is the crux of that part. That's what starts and makes the rock.
Would you count if Johnny's corpse becomes a new Holy Corpse as a Holy Corpse appearance?
You specified Holy Corpse appearance, and that's just a Holy Corpse.
I would count it as both. I guess because the official name is the Saint's Corpse.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying so any corpse, you didn't specify like the specific one.
If it's Johnny's
Jesus
or
Christ one.
Jesus.
Yeah. Popular fan theory that
we're gonna get Jesus
Joestar corpse, or it could just be completely different corpse as they mentioned. But most of them they say that Saint's corpse. Like they eventually rot. This is the only case or whatever. Jesus's was the only case where
that's true.
It never went away.
You're right. I also don't think we're gonna see Johnny's at all. I don't think Rocky's gonna go down that road.
It would be fun. Route. I doubt it. Stand from musician already referenced. There's plenty of references. A Prince reference is almost always guaranteed.
I was gonna say Prince is gonna be 100%.
Or Elvis. Yeah. Elvis has a pretty good selection.
Elvis had 3 in part 8?
We had Blue Hawaii, Wonder of You,
and I thought one more.
I'm forgetting some. I know there's one more. I'm just forgetting it. Yeah, and Prince had a couple. Soft and Wet, Paisley Park. There's more. So yeah, that's fun. And then finally, the Josuke hair reveal, the long coveted Josuke hair that has never been shown once throughout the entire series will finally be shown. Here's my prediction. I think that Josuke is gonna appear in this part, not for a lot, just for a bit, and he's gonna have a completely different outfit. because I think after the whole Part 8's ending, where he has like his own identity or whatever, I think him wearing Kira's clothes would be a bit like weird. I think that would be a bit strange, where he just goes with the sailor outfit, which he literally stole from his house at the beginning of the series. By the way, he stole his clothes. I think it would be an odd choice. So I think we're gonna see him without a hat because he'll get rid of the sailor hat. But it's kind of weird. He's had the sailor hat since the beginning, so it'd be kind of like it's a nice like memento or whatever. But I think
keeping the sailor hat would be nice.
I think at least his outfit is gonna get rid of. At least that or it's just not gonna be dead at the beginning of the part. Who knows? All right, now that we're done with the bingo card, let's discuss some general stuff with the new information from the two things we have. The rabbit card, which was our first initial reveal, which doesn't really reveal a lot to us now because we have a much cleaner look at the protagonist in the like big preview, which has the protagonist front and center. It's a leak, so it's a little bit grainy. A boat with two people in it. By the time this comes
out, there should be a high-res version.
Please, here's hoping. There's a boat with like two people in it, and there's a pretty well translated synopsis translating to about like a boy goes on a mission with either has a lot of money or to get money in subtropical islands. That's like the approximate translation. And from this new information, what can we gather? I'll start the discussion first by saying, who do you think the two people in the boat are?
Obviously, it's Flashback Man and Carrera.
No, stop! No, you've ruined the discussion forever. I will say though, new protagonist is looks very like similar to Flashback Man. The way his hair is like even parted and everything, and is like long to the sides or whatever and his light hair color is very.
It's like shockingly close. It literally looks like as if he just updated the design like he would any character, like showing early on versus later.
I would normally say like, oh, but this new protagonist looks younger, but that is I say that's art style change, like genuinely. End of part 7, people kind of look a bit older, I'd say. End of part 8, people look younger. They've definitely
also technically we don't even know when this part takes place. It could take place in the 90s, like for all we know.
We have no idea. We're assuming it's a sequel, but it could be a.
Assume it's modern day.
I don't
2024, 2025.
I don't want a prequel. I want a sequel. I want to see what happens next. I don't want the ending to be part 8. That would be just odd to me. It would be bizarre. The people in the boat, people have said one of the figures looks a lot like Jolene.
If you look at it a certain way, which I agree with,
the image is not very high quality, so it is very hard to see what outlines are the boat, what outlines are different parts of the clothing, what outlines are hair.
The thing that compares the two.
Yes, the image is right there.
It's either it looks like the protagonist facing one way or Jolene facing a different way.
Or like a character that looks strikingly similar to Jolene with the hair buns and the color of the hair and the outfit.
The other character to me looks like Hermes from behind, but like I don't think that's anything.
I think what's happening here is people are making like assumptions of the character designs based on previous parts, which have never had a precedent in the universe once.
I don't at all believe that there's Hermes or whatever. I don't believe that. I'm just saying it looks like that.
Unless he decides to change it for whatever reason, which it's up to him. Stand designs in alternate universes usually look like very similar, but character designs, I don't think. Besides, like, Stroheim?
Diego's the only one. Diego and Stroheim. Avdol?
Diego looks similar, but his outfit is very different to original universe. Yeah. If we're going off of, this looks like Part 6 Jolene. It's like, what is that? That means nothing.
But
Johnny
Kira,
looks like nothing like
completely different.
Kira is not even similar to original universe Kira in the slightest. They're completely different visually. It doesn't make any sense. I will say though, it is very strange how it looks like Jolene and Hermes. It is a very interesting coincidence, but I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
All right. So with the new the synopsis we have, do you think that this JoJo is gonna be like, his motivations are gonna be like more like greedy instead? Do you think this is like, this guy wants money for greedy reasons, or do you think he has like a like a kind of a Josuke, I'm gonna save my mom reason or something, or do you think he's going like a more negative character arc?
I think it's gonna be maybe selfish originally, but then will turn good. Like he'll find a reason to gain that wealth or something.
Like
He's saving the community
arc
center that the oil companies are gonna destroy.
Yes. Speedwagon Foundation villain. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that would be
they're
a
like,
lot of
if
fun.
you don't gather $1 million in 7 days, we're gonna destroy the local town center.
Oh my god. Okay. What if the part takes place over like a week? That would be so crazy.
Nope,
Part 5 takes place
no.
over 3 weeks. What this part could take
don't
place
want
over
that.
a single week. That would be
No
crazy.
offense. Part 8 trying to play with time did not work. Don't do it again. Do not. Do not have a countdown in the corner.
Have the Majora's Mask like countdown throughout the entire.
Yes.
Every single panel has like a time at the bottom.
Flash forward in the first chapter.
Yeah, there's a word for that. I don't know what it's called. There's like a fancy
In media
story.
res.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you for your knowledge of media. I don't want that. that would be bad. Unless he makes it good. Again, Araki has the magic ability to make storytelling anything be just very, very good, except when it's not. But if it's very, very good, then I don't care what he does. As long he could throw everything out the window. This could be unrelated to every single other part.
This could be in a new universe, yeah.
Yeah, plot twist at halfway through. This is a new universe. Whoa! And if it's good, I don't care as long as it's good. But it has to be done like right.
So I'm just gonna say this. A lot of people are predicting this part and basing it off of other parts, being like it's gonna be like part 6 or whatever, right? And so people are like, they're gonna end it with another universal reset, but like, why? Why would Araki just copy himself over again?
People have many assumptions off of the alternate universe stuff, besides just some character traits go over and haha, it's the funny reference because their name is the same.
The most that Araki's ever played with like your vision of the original universe is when you originally go into Kira's house. Yeah. Because of your preconceived notions, you're like, oh man, what's he gonna find? Like he even leads it up where he's like the toenails or whatever, or the fingernails.
And then you think he's like a serial killer or whatever.
Weird.
And he's just a weirdo. He's just weird. He goes and mocks people for being surfers. That's all he does. He's like, and he collects fingernails.
That's the most he plays with it. Like I guess the world, but like even then he immediately explains it.
The only other thing is the kind of the Jonathan versus Diego rivalry like exists like beyond time or whatever, which I kind of I kind of like. Hard. But he doesn't really continue off of that. It's pretty a one-note thing. He doesn't have Diego/Dio in part 8 connected.
They also aren't like related like the first part. Like, okay, if we had seen like part 7 stuff and we'd seen like before it came out, oh Johnny, and we have a new Dio, people would have been theorizing and saying, oh, they're gonna be raised together and it's gonna be like an exact copy of Phantom Blood or whatever.
Yeah, if back then, I wish I could see the forums back before.
I know
when part 7 was coming out, but it was mostly just Japanese.
I'm mocking them, by the way. I would have been saying the same thing.
Absolutely. If I heard that Araki was making a part that was a reboot but taking place in a parallel universe, I would have been like, oh, so he's gonna do the same story again, but he's gonna like change some things. Ew.
He's gonna basically make Phantom Blood better.
Yeah. Impossible. Phantom Blood is peak already. There is no way to make it better or improve it, except remove the whole middle section of the story. But besides that, I had something to say. Just generally, what do you think of the new design? Just like, not even a picture of it. Just what do you think?
I think hot take better than Gappy. More interesting.
That's incorrect. That is
Gappy's design's good, but it's like it's a sailor suit, dude.
Yeah, it's dapper. He's got the hat.
I think freaking Josefumi is a better like main JoJo design than Josuke, even though it takes a lot from part 4 Josuke.
Yeah, shirt's kind of weird. Also, I can't tell if it's a net suit or a sweater. It's kind of hard, and especially in the not colored version.
I think Gabby's design is good, but like when it's just a sailor suit, I'm
I
like,
gotta
okay.
see the rest of the outfit is the thing. I have to see what the rest of it is. We can see it as like a big like poofy like collar or something, or like it's a jacket
Yeah.
or something. He has some.
I think it's a jacket.
I think it's a big stylish jacket. That's what I think it looks like.
He took Joven's jacket.
It does look a lot like. I will say it looks
does.
very much like Joven's.
It looks
jacket.
like Donatello versus wearing Joven's like
That
cosplay.
makes a lot of that's true. I think it's a very good design. The front part of the hair bugs me a bit. It's a bit too square. It's a bit too style. Like I would like it if it flowed a bit. I would like
sure
it
it'll
if
look
it was
good in motion,
flashback,
though.
man. No, I think when he is hitting the poses, I think it will look nice. But
I like that the hair isn't symmetrical. That was a good choice. Which everyone there was the whole debate of symmetrical versus asymmetrical.
I wanted asymmetrical.
When only the postcard was out. I wanted asymmetrical.
Unless he changes it, which Gappy's first appearance is very different than his like chapter 1 appearance even. So it could be different. But when do you think he made this image? When do you think? Because he's had over a year of time. Do you think he made this recently
I think he's been planning for so long. And that's also why I don't think we're going to see a lot of design changes, just because of how long he's been planning this.
I was about to add, on the same train of thought.
Because remember, Part 8 started a month after Part 7, I believe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Part 8 literally moved on straight from Part 7, and Part 8 was very focused on, like, a mystery narrative or whatever, and it kind of fell apart. It became less. After you get to the halfway point, the mysteries kind of drop. It just becomes like, oh, here's some funky fruit. Here's some ideas about like what makes a person, yada yada. What basic boring stuff like that. But if he like was able to like think up all of that, like just it's not on the spot, but he didn't even have any. He didn't put any extra prep time into that. I'm wondering. I'm hoping that the 1 year wasn't literally just him taking a 1 year break and doing nothing. I hope like
he did 3 Rohan chapters and they were long, so
that's true. So he could have spent some time on that.
He didn't literally do nothing, but like
you know what I mean. Like I hope he actually spent some time sitting down and writing something out. Like don't make Toru this part, and he puts it down. And he puts it on the wall, and he puts a sticky note there. I think it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be peak. That's my final prediction. Yeah. This will be peak JoJo. Final bingo. That's the center star.
Part 7 is my favorite part. Part 8 is my second favorite part. He has only got better with his art in age. He has his writing. Part 8 has the most interesting ideas in the series. Period.
I'd say so. I'd say so. Part 8 and 7. Yeah.
Part 8. The new
universe's lore. Period.
It didn't have planning. Yeah, the new universe's lore is awesome.
I think he knew all the lore,
in an ideal world, if Araki had an infinite lifespan, I would have loved if he had just gone through the years again. Like he had done a 40s part, an 80s part, and then gone up to modern day.
I wish he had enough time to do 6 other parts instead of like
skipping around. Yeah.
I think that he had all the lore in mind with the rock humans and stuff and all of their biology and all that, but he didn't figure out how to introduce them, and he didn't really integrate them that well into his like mystery narrative. So I kind of just put him in there, but he knew he wanted it. So I think with the extra planning he's done, I think he'd be able to integrate any new lore details, which supposedly he said he'd planned the lore details already, as he said like back when Part 7 was coming out, he was like, I have 7, 8, and 9 all planned, which could be just completely wiped out by now.
He said he had a basic outline, and the specific wording he used was that he had a basic outline, which I think literally means he said the story is about breaking a curse. I think that's all.
Really,
he knew.
You think he has like the beginning lines?
I think he had. Part 7 was this is the story of me walking again or whatever. Mm-hmm, yeah. The specific thing. The story of me breaking the curse, and then Part 9 is gonna be this is a story of me
about
gaining
discovering
wealth
the One
whatever.
Piece. Yes.
Discovering the One Piece. Yeah.
Exactly. I had one last thing to say. Part 9. Overall, I think it will be really, really good, just as long as we get the villain early on. I think that's the.
Yes. I think we will get the villain early on.
I think that's what it really needs. Funny Valentine was, I think, a perfect balance. He like shows up a third of the way through, I believe.
I think a little earlier than that, but he doesn't do much.
We see, oh, he's the president. Oh, he's doing something weird. He's a bit suspicious, and that's all we know.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing is I saw a really good theory earlier. I actually want to pull up. Let me see what this YouTuber was, because I saw a really good theory from him, from Kevin D OG earlier, and he had a theory about how the series is gonna like wrap around back to the Joestar Mansion in England, and I was like, that would be such a sick. If this is the final part, and like imagine it's like the Dio Mansion that he has to go to, but it's like the Joestar Mansion in England or something. That'd be sick. Even though the lore is different, you could just say Joseph got a mansion or something. But like, you know, story wise.
Yeah, story wise. Cool. Speaking villain appearing early. Second of all, villain gotta be connected to Dio in some way. I'm just saying. I think it's alt universe Poochie some way. It shouldn't be. He doesn't even have to be named Poochie, but he should be like.
All I'm gonna say is
like
that
Diablo.
people like talking about the alt universe original characters, or I mean not original characters, Joestars. But we have also got alt universe part 3 and part 4 villains. Yeah. So Diavolo,
Poochie. All right.
Be cool.
Unless you have any final predictions, I think this is a good point to wrap everything up.
I think all I wanted to say is that this is going to be our last discussion video until part 9 comes out.
Unless some huge leak happens, which I severely doubt.
Even
I don't even want to see.
We're not even going to cover leaks. Yeah. Technically, the spread is a leak, but I don't count it because it's not a story thing.
Promotional.
It's a promotional thing.
They were going to put it out before the part came out anyway. It's not exactly. It didn't change.
It's not like panel 1 leaks and it's Josuke 8 dying. I would never.
Panel 1 is him getting shot. Just that's the first cold open. That would go extremely hard.
So we're planning. I've heard the translation team is like apparently wanting to get it out the day of, which would be great. And we're gonna get our discussion out as fast as we can for that.
Recording day.
Our reactions.
Yeah, because I don't even want to think about anything else. I want to just get that over with.
Totally. So we're just excited to get into it, and we have literally exactly a month once this video comes out.
Yes, it should be. Yes.
Exciting.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like, comment your theories down below, and subscribe because we will be talking about JoJoLands a lot more once it comes out. Trust us, a lot more. All right. Anyways, this is JoJo Overdrive signing off. Coming through now. Coming through now. Coming through. Shake it like it's heat. Overdrive. Coming through now. Coming through now. Coming through. Watch where you're going. Overdrive. Let the downside up to top notch. Whatever haters do.